In this video, I'm going to explain some of the stuff that I use in my systems. All right, we're going to start from the right and we move to the left. All right, the first thing we're going to see is a linear, a sliding potentiometer. It's a potentiometer. This is a 20K, it's a 20,000 ohm potentiometer. And this one, you slide like this. Okay. Um, it's the same thing as this one, but this one is a rotary. You turn this one and you have the three contacts, just as you have three contacts on this one. Okay. And you can drill a hole in whatever you're gonna, wherever you're gonna put it, and you put it in the hole, and then you turn the nut here and you fix it. All right. The disadvantage of this kind of um, potentiometer, and this also, okay, is that it gets dirty. The carbon inside releases some kind of a dust, okay, and after a time you start getting problems with this. But it's so cheap that it's just a matter of you take it out and substitute it. These are cheap, so it's no problem. All right. This one is also the same, right? It's a B10K, means that this is a 10,000 ohm resistor inside of this, okay? These are rotary encoders, all right? They're the same almost like this. The difference is that these rotate in either direction. You can rotate to the left and you can rotate them to the right. And they also, some of them also have a press, a button press here, okay? On my throttles, I was using these potentiometers, but eventually I'm going to probably substitute them, and I'm going to put one of these instead. But the difference in price is like this costs like 3, 4, 5 times one of these, right? So you got to see the question of the price. But I think this would be better to use than the ordinary rotary potentiometers. And then they are sealed, okay? So dust can't get in, while this one is like open here and dust would get in, moisture would get in, and that would start causing problems. Here you have a switch. This is an on-off switch. Another advantage is that you can just drill a hole. This is about 6 millimeters diameter. You can drill a hole, you fit it in, and then you have an off and an on, off, on, okay? Right, this is on. I know that it's just an off and on because it has 2 pins, so I know it's an off and on. This position is on and this position is off. And I think it also is written on the tin here, the covering here, all right? So you can identify which side is on and which side is off. You also have this kind of a button, all right? This is a press, another advantage. You just drill a hole, you put it in, 6 millimeters again. I think that's the standard. You just drill it and you can press it. You have 2 connections on the back side of it that you connect your wires, all right? A bit more expensive than the micro switches, but more robust. This is not a kind of switch that I usually use, all right? More robust than the micro switches, and you just press it. And this one you can fix it because it has holes here for you to put screws into. Né? These are micro switches. This is a square one, okay? Has 2 pins, which makes it easier. And press and you release, press and release, okay? Cheap? No, nothing much. This is the same thing, but only that this one is circular, which means you can, I think this is 5 millimeters or 4 millimeters, 5 millimeters or 6 millimeters, and you just drill a hole, you fit it in, pass the wires through the back in the hole, in the wood, for example. You drill the 1 hole, and then you drill 2 holes, okay? And the wire would pass through the 2 holes and come and make the contact here, all right? Simple. It's very easy to use and easier to use than the square ones because it's easier for you to drill a hole than to cut out something square. This one you might eventually have to glue it on the wherever you're going to use it. You probably have to glue it on. This one goes in, and the appearance is a bit better than the square one. All right. This is the same, but this one is bigger. Okay. Some of these micro switches, the pin here, the where you press, some of them are long, some of them are short. You can choose whatever you need. All right. The thing with these with 4 connections is that when you press, every time when you're going to use them, install them, and you press, you have to make sure which connections, which of these pins make contact. Because on some of them, when you press here, it would make contact with these two above here. In others, when you press, like in this one, in this case, you press here, and it makes contacts with this one and this one on the other side, like here, you know? So, like, so it's on the diagonal. So you always got to be careful with that. Easy to fix. They can fit on any one of these proto boards. Okay, the pins are just adjusted for this, so it's perfect. Okay, if you have big fingers and you know you can use this. This one is easier to find because sometimes you're looking at the screen at the game or something like that, and you're fumbling to get to find which is the right switch. Which in this case is very easy to you to find it. All right. This is what I use to make my plugs. All right. You can find these strips. Okay. You find these strips, and you need a plug with 4 pins. You just cut 4 off and shave off the ends and make it look nice. Okay. Like in this case, look, I needed what 4 pins here. Okay. So I just cut just 4 pins, and you can shave off the end to make it look nice, and then you just solder your wires onto it. Okay. So this this would be like the plug, and this would be like the socket. Okay. So if I have like 4 pins, I just cut 4 pins here, and then I can make a connection here. All right. And it's fixed. It wouldn't come loose easily. For example, look, this one, I was using this one. I have here a 5-pin plug, and I just stick it in here, and I have a connection. Then this side, okay, I can also connect it to another plug, and I have a kind of an extension or whatever you need it for. Okay, and you can always glue the end with hot glue so that the wires don't come loose and things like that, because sometimes the wires change position and they end up coming in contact with each other, and that would cause kind of a shorten and give you some problems. Okay, these are resistors, different types of resistors. All right. The resistor that I'm going to use are 10K, all right, which is 10,000 ohm resistors. These are little resistors, are quarter watt resistors, okay, very small. And this I think is a half watt or 1 watt or 2 watts, something like that, all right. The bigger the wattage, which dissipates heat, okay, the bigger the resistor. So you can identify when it's a quart, when it's a half, when it's 1, when it's 2, when it's 5 watts, bigger ones and things like that. But these are all resistors. This is a diode. All right, you can almost see it. This is a diode. All right, and what a diode does, it allows current to pass in one direction. Okay, this is where you have a black mark. This is the cathode. This goes to the negative, and this one goes to the positive. All right. Here you have a proto board, PCB. All right. On one side you have the material. I don't remember the name of this material, and the other side you have the copper holes, okay, where you can make your contacts, solder your pins or whatever you need, okay. These are sockets, okay, and in these sockets you would put the chip, the IC, integrated circuits, all right, simple to use, all right, and the important thing is whenever you have to solder anything from on this socket, you should always remove the chip. If not, the heat could damage the chip, okay, so you got to be careful with that. In this case, look, I have one of these proto boards with the two sockets and two integrated circuits. This circuit, this integrated circuit is SN74H 165 74HC 165N. Right? These are the integrated circuits that this system uses. All right. You have other optional ones, but these are cheap and easy to use. The connections are easy. In this case, I have 4 pins. Each one of these chips has possibility of connecting 8 buttons. Okay, because so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Remember the ground for the other side, because when you connect one of these switches, one would go to here, okay, through the cable, and the other side would go to ground. Afterwards, I'm going to show how you do that, okay. And so if I have to solder anything, I would just remove the chip. How to remove the chip? You take a screwdriver and you just pry it up very carefully from both sides so as not to break any of the pins or bend them. Because eventually if you keep bending them, they will break and then there's no way for you to make a connection. Okay? So you got to be careful. This I was using on the joystick before. And like from here and here it would have there are 16 buttons, okay, and this would be connected to the 16 buttons, and on this side would be connected to the um, SM32 board, which is this one here, okay.